Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
All right, time for a What's Working in Ag segment. I'm kind of excited about this one. I think we spent the last 10 minutes reflecting on our childhoods, trying to figure out, we know we crossed paths somewhere and we're not putting it two and two together. So coming from Northwest Iowa, my pleasure to invite this guest in our studio today. So why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and let them know what you're up to?
I am Pete Olson. I'm with Meridian Manufacturing. I'm a regional sales manager and product manager based out of Storm Lake, Iowa. That's where we manufacture our smooth wall bins, fuel tanks, fuel trailers. We do stainless chem tanks, liquid fertilizer tanks there. And, yeah.
It's exciting.
Pleasure to be here.
You've had a busy week because this is the week of the Iowa Ag Expo.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably got to see quite a few producers in the area telling you what's working on their farm.
Oh, yeah. No, we had a lot of good conversations. The first 2 days were really busy. The last days are always a little slower, but the first 2 days
It's a
were
snow day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 2 days were really busy. A lot of conversations. I felt like I never got a chance to sit down.
Yeah.
But, we had a seed tender on display in one of our fuel trailers in our little booth there. So, yeah, we're the first booth you see when the shuttle drops them off from Principal Park.
Yep.
So we're the first booth people see in the morning, and then, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I know Corey wished he was here because he's been hunting for a fuel trailer. He's nicknamed his fuel trailer Lightning Stream to be a play off of maybe a not so great fuel trailer compared to what you guys have.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I mean, they make a very good product, and I think we make a very good product as well.
Yeah.
But, in this day and age, there's a lot of competitors out there, multiple product lines, and everybody everybody seems to make a fairly decent product. It's just a little different nuances for how getting things done from A to B.
Yeah. So as you talk fuel trailers, because we're going to be heading into spring here, we're probably going to talk a little bit fuel trailers, a little bit seed tenders, and get into some more of what's going on and helping producers here in the Midwest. What are some key characteristics of those fuel trailers?
So we offer a 500 and a 990-gallon fuel trailer version, and you can get DEF capacity on there as well. So we offer either a 55 or 110-gallon DEF system. Basically, this day and age, all the newer equipment's required to have DEF. So when you're in a field and you don't feel like pulling her back to the home place to fill up, I mean, it's just a good time-saving option to get a fuel trailer and take her out to the field, right behind your pickup. So
does it fuel up any better coming out of a Meridian stationary tank? Is there like a match made in heaven? Does it just harmonize perfectly?
With our stationary tanks, I mean, you can get a lot higher capacities at
Sure.
the nozzle with bigger pumps and different capabilities there, but you're pretty limited on space and what works in the field when it comes to pumping options. Kind of an industry standard across the board. You either have a 12-volt pump or a gas-driven pump for your diesel, and then on the DEF side, it's just a little 12-volt pump to fill up when you need it. But in our stationary tanks, I mean, we do a lot of vertical double wall tanks, so you don't need the containment, and we do turnkey options, so you can do the fill side, dispense side, your venting, your level gauge, and one of the most common ways we've been selling a 12,000 gallons kind of been a good number to hit. Pretty popular size. I mean, you can get a full tanker load into it with the 3-inch fill. Your transport load can come hook up right to it and pump it straight in, and overfill protection is included in that. So when they get to the 90% marks, they don't overfill their tank. I mean,
Right.
it does have a float in it that'll rise up and shut the line off, so you can't overfill your tank.
No kidding. Well, that'd be handy. I almost need that on my pickup because sometimes that nozzle doesn't click off.
Yep, and auto nozzles are sometimes finicky like that, but
I like that you said you've got the size that'll take a full truckload, because we've had a lot of episodes to where we've talked about what value buying in bulk can bring.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it can go the other way when prices shift, but if you can get a good preseason price and book your fuel needs for maybe one season, maybe both spring and fall, it gives you some more predictability as you look at your break even.
Well, and it gives you a little more control on your input costs as well. So, and from what I understand from the fuel suppliers we work with, buying a full truckload is the most economical way to buy it. Mm-hmm. And that's where they usually give the best price breaks. So because they only have to do one fill, one stop versus split stops. And
It's extra paperwork and all inside that. And that's probably the same way that it goes when you get your seed deliveries. So when you guys are talking about your seed tenders, what types of setups do you have?
We offer both basically what we kind of preach is that we offer a tender for even the smallest, very small guy. We have a 100-unit bulk tender. We also offer a 2-box tender. But then we offer all the way up to a 400-unit seed tender, or with the conveyor side, we have a commercial grade. It holds 15. It's about 15. It's called our CST 1550.
Sure.
But that's actually a dual purpose for fertilizer and seed.
I wonder how many guys use that 1550, because I'm looking at it on the screen right now, and can it separate hybrids in those compartments?
Yeah, there's 6 compartments in that thing.
So, guys, if you're not looking at this, you need to go to meridianmfg.com, but it's a full semi-trailer. What is that, 40-foot long?
I'd have to look.
I might pull that up while you're talking about it, but it does. It has 6 different compartments?
Yeah, no, it's a beast.
Nice.
It's very popular further north.
Yeah.
Not so much I'm just from a small farm in northwest Iowa. It's not something we would use around here. But yeah, both the incline and the under conveyor are fully stainless, and then the slopes on the hoppers are stainless, and then the inclines are mild steel. But it's a dual purpose.
Wow. No, that is exciting. It's a triple axle trailer, and it is certainly set up to move a ton of seed in a hurry. But as you talk about setting up these seed tenders for spring, a lot of guys have handled their pro boxes. So what helps keep that seed from getting damaged between the box and the planter with your setup?
Well, we offer both a polycup flighting on the auger units, and then we do our cleated conveyor belts on some of our bigger bulk units, which we do offer the cleated belt on our 2 and 4 box pro box styles. But we have it both ways. I mean, you can get a 100 unit with an auger, you can get a 200 unit with an auger or a conveyor, and then your 2 boxers you can do either or, and then 4 boxes strictly conveyor, and then our bigger bulk units are all conveyor belts.
What have you been seeing lately for orders? Are guys stepping up to that 4-box tender, or what do you see?
It's one of those things that farm sizes seem to keep getting bigger and bigger. All your equipment has to get bigger and bigger, and there is some value in bringing 4 boxes to the field so you don't have to turn around and go refill right away. But, I mean, if it's just coming to the almighty dollar, there's still plenty of those little units going out the door, and it all comes down to what best suits their farm.
Right. We want to make sure our listeners are as efficient as they can be. And one of the things that they worry about is breakdowns in season. So a lot of the stuff is manufactured where?
Storm Lake, Iowa.
And that's where most of the parts come from also?
Yep, we have a full parts warehouse there. We also have a pretty extensive dealer network around the Midwest, and a lot of our dealers stock parts. So we have a very good inside sales team. Cody and Leah, they're our inside salespeople in Storm Lake, and Cody's been there 5 years longer than I have been. I started back in 2011. So he's been there pushing, what would that be, 15 plus? No,
Yeah.
he's pushing 20 now.
Pretty close to 20.
Yeah, but he's got a vast amount of knowledge on both our old, our tenders dating back to the early 90s.
Right.
He's got a very good grasp on those. So the support team we have is really good. And then we also have a service team that, if they just can't get it done in the field, we can send them out and help out. And that's all coming out of Storm Lake. But, yeah, we do a full parts warehouse. We have inside sales support there at the factory every day. So
nice. And we're only touching on a couple of the spring-ready products. I mean, like you stated, the smooth wall bins, we've got a lot of things that our listeners can check out at meridianmfg.com. So MERIDIAN mfg.com. But before we let you go, is there anything else you'd want to share with them to wrap up?
Well, I mean, we could touch on the bins. We do smooth wall bins. I mean, we do a vast amount of applications for it across all the industries, not just agriculture. It's grain, seed, fertilizer, DDG, soybean meal, and then you can get into commercial industrial applications. We're doing cement plants, craft brewing. We kind of always joke that if gravity can flow it, we can store it. So
that's good. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't realize that Meridian is 65 years plus old in the nature of the business. So it's nice to see that we've got a lot of history, a lot of research that goes into play. So is this website the best place to send our listeners, or is there a better way to go about it?
Well, Meridian MFGs .com is our base website. I mean, that has information for all the Meridian products that we offer. Convey All is under the Meridian umbrella, but they have their own separate website for their applications when it comes to their big commercial seat tenders or their incline conveyors, or even underbin conveyors,
Now that makes sense as to why when I opened your booklet here, it was upside down for half of it and not for the other.
Yep, those are our product portfolios. We've started using it at all of our trade shows.
Yeah.
So I still had a box in there from being at the Iowa Ag Expo all week, but
no, this is good. Now this gives listeners an excuse to come by the studio because they can come by and pick up one of these for themselves.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us, listeners. Go check out meridianmfg.com to learn more about their products and what could be working for your farm this spring.